Hi everyone, it's Shar and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I wanted to do a video on MC Command Center. Now MC Command Center is a mod by Deaderpool. It is an absolutely massive mod that controls pretty much every aspect of your game and allows you to customize it. I'm not going to go through every single module because quite honestly, even though I've been using MC Command Center for years, I haven't touched every single module. What I'm going to show you instead is the most useful modules that I use in my everyday gameplay and how I customize my game. This is going to be more tutorial style, but my sim self here, I just wanted to load into her apartment. I did build this apartment and we're going to just start with what you need. So the basics. MC Command Center pops up in two menus. We have the menu for your sim. This customizes things related to your sim, so you can customize their relationships, their skills, their career, their university degrees, dressers, their pregnancy. You can start a pregnancy through here, but if you click on the sim and you access MC Command Center through that module, you are accessing things just for that sim, not for your entire game. If you want to use MC Command Center to customize your entire game, you need a PC on the lot. All you do is you click on the computer and then you access MC Command Center. So I'm going to show you a few of the most helpful modules, starting with custom aging. So the first thing you do is click MCC settings once you're on the computer. Then you're going to go set age span duration. That's this little one here at the bottom of the menu. Then you click human. You can also customize for your pets. I don't often play with pets, but it's the same idea. So human, and then you can set by lifespan. You could also, of course, set duration in the game menu, but that is within custom sets, while MC Command Center lets you set specific days. What I do tend to change in my age span is the toddler phases is shorter. So you can see the default is 7. I have that to 4. Again, I just don't like the toddler phase. I keep them as toddlers for storytelling, but I don't want them to be toddlers for a whole week. That really slows down my gameplay. It preys on my attention span, and I find they can get all the skills they need to get within those 4 days. For me, a day in The Sims is a year. So 4 days for a toddler is like 4 years. And that seems reasonable to me. The first setting I change in my game, if I don't want to set it through the game where it's still within certain parameters of how many days is short, how many days is long, how many days is normal, I have it custom to how many days I would like my Sims to stay in each lifespan. The next thing I customize is skill building speed, because my Sims need to be smarter, okay? Listen, I don't want to see you do 300 repetitions of push-ups to get your fitness skill up. You can change this to any amount that you want, but you just click gameplay settings, and then we're gonna go with bottom here, skill difficulty adjustment. And then you can adjust it to however much you want it to be. So you can see from this description here, negative is slower. So 2 is 200% faster. 3 is 300% faster. 4 is 400% faster. I just have it at 2 because I find 3 is very, very speedy and feels very cheaty, while 2 feels more natural to my attention span and how quickly I want my Sims to build their skills. But this is another way I customize my game just to make it more entertaining for me and to suit how I want to play. You can also do the same thing with fame. If you wanted it to be easier to get famous, you can again just increase this. Say you want it to be 100 times faster, you can just set that to 1, and then it's a lot faster for Sims to get famous. I'm going to actually keep that at 1 there. And you can do the same thing with character values. Say you want your Sims character values to actually increase or to be harder for the Sims to actually get character values. I'm okay with it at 0, but I'll set it to 1 just again to suit my personal gameplay. All right, then we have in-game child protective services. So if your sim is neglecting a child and it gets taken away, by default in the game, that child pretty much ceases to exist. They'll still be in like your menu of known sims, but you can no longer interact with them. They've essentially been culled. MC Command Center allows you in the same gameplay settings menu to adopt neglected child. So what this means is that if a child is taken away for any reason, rather than disappearing from the game, they'll be adopted by another family. So I will turn that on. Then we have notifications. So if you ever hate it when your Sims Say, for me, I play legacy style, so my Sims usually have pretty massive families and they know a ton of people, but unless you're playing with that family, you really don't know what's going on with your extended family. The notifications menu in MC Command Center will allow you to actually see what's going on and to customize it. So for aging and death, I want to know every time someone ages up, I can customize this to whoever I want. Right now, I have it to related to active household only, but you can have this be for your played Sims only if you're playing multiple households, if you only want to know about it for NPCs, if you only want to know about it for your romance or your friends, or if you want to know about it for everyone. For me, active household is what I'm focusing on, but just checking any one of these options means that here, like you see this notification, a notification will pop up if someone that falls within the category has aged up. It's the same thing with death notifications. I want to know if anyone within my family or related to my family has passed away. So if that happens, boom, I'll get a notification in the game while I'm playing that has happened. And that means I can have more storytelling and gameplay because I then know that it's time to have a family gathering, a funeral, and just makes it seem like my sim is less isolated in their household and truly has this wider network of connections. Pregnancy notifications, if you wanted to know if any of your extended sims got married or gave birth, if you want to set that so your friends would show up on this notification while you're playing, you can do that as well. If you want to see if anyone broke up or got together, you can also do that as well. I'll actually set that to related active, pregnancy as well. So again, storytelling, we can do baby showers and things like that. And then marriage, because then I know that it's time for a wedding, and I always set that to related to active household only. Now, of course, if you're playing legacy style, after a certain generation, the game stops registering that you're family because you become distant relatives. So take that with a grain of salt, set that to whatever you want it to be. And then birth notifications. Birth notifications I have enabled, so that gives me the detail, so it will tell me how many babies were born versus just a birth notification, which I will turn on, which will just show me if someone in my family has given birth or someone who's related to my sim has given birth. So let's move on to pregnancy and family. So we're going to go to the MC Command Center main menu. Again, that first menu that comes up when you are opening MC Command Center on the computer. You do need the MC Woohoo module in order to customize this kind of stuff, but let's start with MC Pregnancy. So for MC Pregnancy, we have adoption settings. So adoption ages. By default in the game, you can only adopt babies, toddlers, and children. I actually want to have mine set to teens as well because for my gameplay, I want teens to be able to be adopted. So I included teens within that. That's how you would change that in your game if you also wanted to adopt a teenager. Then we have offspring. Now, offspring tells you a bunch of things. What I tend to do with offspring is just this one right here. Maximum offspring is set to 3. You can set that to more. Sometimes if I'm feeling chaotic, I like to have it so it can be up to 4 sims, but just keep in mind the higher that this number is, the higher the odds of sims having multiples. So I'm gonna keep it at 3, but if you wanted it to be more, you can do up to 6, so your sims can give birth to 6 babies at one time. And that's really the only module that I play with. You can also do things like make it so the child inherits a trait from the parent, make it so the child can be identical to the parent, whatever it is that you want to do, but the only one I play with is the offspring. The second thing I do with pregnancy is allow pregnancy aging. So the way I'd like to have this set is actually to have this enabled, because if your sim gets pregnant a lot, they essentially live forever. They become immortal because each time a sim is pregnant, their aging pauses. I turn that on because I don't care if the sim ages. In fact, I want them to age. I don't want them to get to the point where their children are technically now older than them, because the sim's aging is always paused, especially if you do things like play the 100 baby challenge. Then we have MC Woohoo. I used to play with this a bit, especially the Woohoo pregnancy, because what you can do is risky Woohoo percent, and you can change that to a certain value. However, because I use the Woohoo wellness mod and a couple of other mods, this always has to be set to 0. Otherwise, it causes conflict between the two mods. If you don't use those two mods and you want to make it so there's always a chance that even just regular woohoo will result in a pregnancy, you can set it with the risky woohoo module of MC Command Center. So I'm going to show you how to stop random townies. I like the random townies. I think they're hilarious, but sometimes I do want more like put together quote unquote sims in my save file, meaning the ones who aren't walking around wearing every piece of custom content possible. We're going to go to MC population. We're going to go to populating settings, and then we are going to go down to import tray settings. A tray setting is sims that are saved into your library. So you can change this percentage. I'm going to start by saying import tray sim percent. It's currently set at 0. I'm going to make it so that it's set to 30%. What that means is that 30% of the randomly generated sims in my game will pull directly from the library as opposed to the Sims game trying to randomize townies. So that is what that means. So just click OK, and then that will take you back to the menu. You can also change your population settings. So say that you didn't want to have a population that was like mostly elder. Say you wanted that to be a smaller number. You can make that a smaller number, or if you're playing with an older generation and you need more elder sims, you can customize that so more elder sims populate into the game, and it will always be by that percentage. So 33% of the adults that populate into the game will be elders, and that's the default. Through this menu, you can also enable or disable bar night. Say you fucking hate bear night and you wish that didn't exist, you would just unclick that little checkbox here, and it would make it so that bear night was no longer an option. If you didn't want night, whatever it is that you don't want in your game, you can disable it here with the enable or disable bar nights in the MC population menu. So with population control out of the way, let me tell you about autonomy. So autonomy is what your sims are able to do by default in the game on their own without you queuing anything up. So the way you change this in MC Command Center, again, always from the computer menu. This is the MC Command Center main menu when you open the computer. You scroll down to the bottom and then you open MC Tuner. MC Tuner will change autonomy for your sims. So you click change interaction autonomy. If you want your sims to be able to autonomously create mischief or be mischievous with other sims, you would just click this and then you would enable it. It's enabled by default, I believe. So the other things you can change in here are the things I typically change. So we spoke about autonomous proposals. We can also have autonomous marriage. So your sims can get married on their own without you having any interference there. I also keep autonomous flirty on, but be cautious with that. Yes, it means that your sims can flirt with anyone without your interference and without you queuing it up, but it also means that your sims can autonomously cheat. If you live for the drama, cool, turn that on. If you don't, then you can disable it. We also have autonomous repairs. Sims typically do that on their own, and autonomous cleaning and autonomous gardening. If you hate all of those things, you can disable those through this menu. Then we have change interaction behavior in this same MC Tuner menu. This makes it so you can turn things on and off. So the thing I typically disable is monster under the bed. I hate the damn monster under the bed. So I turn that off because I'm tired of my sims literally every night crying to their parents about a monster being under the bed and them staying up all night. So I do typically disable monster under the bed. You can also make it so that instant upgrades are always available. You can also make it so that your sim can have multiple BFFs. Right now they can only have one BFF. So if your sim has a BFF and then asks someone else to be a BFF, they'll get a notification that says such and such have fallen out. They are no longer BFFs. If you want your sim to be able to have multiple BFFs, which I typically do, I keep that disabled or enabled so that they can have multiple. Allow teen move-in makes it so that your sims can invite teens to live with them. I like that for storytelling purposes. Disable witness death. If you hate your sims constantly stopping everything that they're doing to witness a death that they have nothing to do with, you can disable it here. I keep it enabled simply because if I disable it, it disables it for everyone, which means your sim very well may ignore their grandmother falling to the floor and dying. So that's why I keep it on. Friendly ask if single, I like to have enabled because asking someone if they're single does not always have to be a flirty interaction, especially if you're trying to make a new friend. I just like to have that be in the friendly menu as well as friendly stay the night. I don't always want that to be a romantic interaction. I may be asking a friend to have a sleepover, and that's why I keep that in the friendly menu. Kisses always available is exactly what it sounds like. I keep that disabled, and then stop random flirting. You can stop here, but I don't mess with that. Those are the main things that I mess with in this interaction behavior, and allow child baby care, because so often your kids will go up to the babies and not be able to do anything but block you from taking care of it. This makes it so a child can interact and take care of a baby, and I find that to be more realistic. The other thing I change, or the other thing that you can change in the interaction behavior module, is emotional death. So if your Sims die from being playful or angry or embarrassed and you don't want that to happen, you can disable it. I keep it enabled for the drama, but sometimes I'm tempted to disable it, but you can disable it through the interaction behavior menu in the MC Tuner menu of MC Command Center. No, we're gonna go to MC Command Center, back to that main menu, just MC Career. And then this allows you to change everything related to careers, including school. So teens quit school and children quit school. I keep that off, but if you want it to play like, say you're playing a isolated Let's Play, which I sometimes do, which is like your Sims on an island, you can make it so that your Sims are able to quit school and they don't continue to try to autonomously go to school. But I keep that off, I think mostly because I have a mod that interferes with it. What I do change is the university settings. Difficulty setting, by default, it's set to 0. I have it set to 2 so that it's a little bit easier and less stressful for me who's trying to enjoy the university pack. This just makes it so that their progression in their grades is faster or slower when it comes to university. The other thing I change is how freaking long it takes for university homework to be done. Like, your Sim will sit all day during their homework, and I'm here trying to play the game, not watch my Sims do homework. So university homework progression at the bottom of this MC Career module will make it so that you can change how fast or how slowly they do their homework. What it is negative means that it takes longer for homework to get done. Positive is faster. I can do the same thing with just regular homework as well. So school homework progression. This one works the same way. I have it set to 10, but I'm actually going to go ahead and set that to 20. So it is faster for my Sims to do their homework, and I don't have to watch them do homework all day. You could also change the career difficulty adjustment. By default, it's set to 0. This just makes it so that each 1% is 100% faster. So 1% is 100% faster, 2 is 200% faster. If you just want to make it so that it's quicker for your Sims to get through their career, because I play Legacy style and I don't have a ton of patience, which is the theme of this video, I do customize my game so that is 100% faster for my Sims to progress through their careers. This is not as fast as you think it would be. It's a good amount of time. It would still take a couple of days for my Sim to get a promotion in their career, but 10 would be the maximum value, which essentially means your Sim's gonna promote it all the fucking time. And that brings me to the final setting that I play around with the most, which is the cheat. Listen, every time I open my game, I don't want to go in and type testing cheats true, bb.move objects on, bb.enable free build, bb full cast edit mode on. Like, I don't want to do that, okay? That's too many times. Those are cheats that I use all of the time. So with MC Command Center, you can make it so cheats are always on by default. So the first cheat I enable is the MCC settings menu settings, and I make it so that bills are auto paid. This is something that's enabled mostly because I forget to pay the bills in The Sims all the time, and then power and electricity is always being shut off automatically. I just have that enabled, so if the Sim has the money to pay or the funds in their household to pay the bill, then the money will just automatically come out. Through the menu setting, you can also change the bills percent. So if you wanted your Sims bills to be cheaper, minus 100% would be no bills, 100% would be twice the bills if you wanted it to be more expensive. By default, it is set at 0. Each negative will mean less amounts of money that your Sim pays. Positive would mean more amounts of money that your Sims paid. I keep that as is. The bill percentage doesn't bother me. So to enable child support in the same money setting, you just go down to the bottom, pay child support. I have it none. You can make it so it's all. So any sim who has a child, a single parent with children living with them, regardless of whether or not they're married, will receive child support. You can do it so that it's only for single parents who are living with them if they're married to the other parent, and then unmarried only. So only the sim who has a child living with them and the other parent would pay child support. What I do turn on in this menu is inheritance, so that when a sim dies, all of their money, whatever funds they have, their house, all of that shit gets put into an inheritance. So inheritance sim type, I have it so all. So any sim that dies, whoever is related to them will get an inheritance. So that way I don't have to worry about where did all of the money go, especially if I'm playing legacy style, in which case I want the money to be divvied up between the children. And then you can also set it so it's inheritance spouse first, so that if the parent is still living, so the spouse is still living, they will get the money rather than the children. I have that enabled. That's set to enabled by default with MC Command Center. I will actually disable that because I think the children should receive the money first. All right, this is very, very buried into the game, but we're back in the MC Command Center main menu, MCC settings. We're going to go to notification console menu settings. We're going to go to console command settings. Then we will have all of the cheats. So I keep full edit cast mode enabled because I like changing sim skin details. Sometimes I change their traits because I have certain poses tied to traits. So I need to have that enabled at all times, especially when my sims age up and I'm trying to give them their toddler makeovers or their child makeovers, their teen makeovers, their adult makeovers, their elder makeovers. And it's impossible to do that without the full edit cast mode on when you're changing skill detail. So that is always on for me. Headline effects you can turn off. What headline effects are is when a sim is walking around and you see their name above their head. I keep that enabled, otherwise I have no idea who anyone is, but if you don't like that, you can disable it automatically as part of your gameplay with MC Command Center. Testing cheats, I always have that enabled. Testing cheats means that cheats are always on. You never have to open up the menu and type in testing cheats true. It is always on by default if you have this enabled in MC Command Center. That is very important. And then the build by settings shows you all of the build by cheats. So by debug enabled means that anything that falls into that by debug menu, so the like free items locked behind this aspect of the game, is always on for you, and you don't have to enable that cheat in your console menu. It is just always on. Free build enabled is the one that lets you build on any lot, even lots that your sim doesn't own. And ignore unlock, so certain aspects of the game are locked to careers. You can enable it so that is no longer true, and you can access them from the by debug menu without entering this cheat right here. Move objects, makes it so you can place objects anywhere in the game. And then show live edit objects, I'm going to enable. That shows you the background stuff in the world. This massive menu beyond like by debug, it's everything that exists in your game. So I have that enabled as well. So those are all of the cheats that I keep on automatically as part of my gameplay through MC Command Center, so that each time I play, my game is already set up exactly how I want it to be. By the way, this notification console menu setting is also where you change your phone text. So if you don't like the festival text or you don't want any text, you can disable it. Perfect if you're doing, again, kind of like an isolated gameplay. It feels very odd to show you no gameplay, but ultimately this is just a tutorial for MC Command Center. Most of these changes do require a restart of the game, so never load up and set this up thinking that you're going to play right away. You're going to set it up, you're going to restart your game, and then your game will play like that moving forward. It will be the same in every single one of your save file, but note that because the game updates quite a bit, especially when there are patch updates, if there's free content in a major patch, if a new game is new game pack is dropping, so like the Sims 4 high school years, that is also going to affect MC Command Center. You'll have to remove the old module, put it back into your game, which means you'll have to set all of these settings all over again. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful in terms of learning how to customize your own game with MC Command Center. Of course, this is going to be for PC only. My console players, I'm sorry, you don't have the ability to download MC Command Center. That's everything. That's how you fully customize your Sims 4 game with these settings. MC Command Center is super powerful. It has so many more settings that I did not even play with, I did not explore, so feel free to play it with yourself, but I hope it gives you a good overview of the main things that you can use to customize your game to your taste. So I'm going to see you in my next video as my Sim self reads a book. It feels very typical to me. Bye everyone!